And what a coincidence, we're speaking now to Teal Independent Kylea Tink. Kylea, good to see you. Was Natasha Files talking about you in particular?
Oh, look, I think she was talking about anybody who has concerns about our planet's climate, to be honest. So she's taken a big swing at a huge group of people who fundamentally believe that there is only bad business when you chase short-term bucks. So regardless of what the Chief Minister has said at the press club yesterday, this sort of investment behind what is essentially a high carbon emitting industry is a bad investment for Australians at the moment. We need to get off gas. And I think the irony is not lost on me that even at this current rate, if this project proceeds, all the predictions are that that location will actually be underwater within 30 years. So, look, I think the most important thing about our democracy is that we have robust debates, and I admire her for coming out and swinging, but in this case, I actually think the Chief Minister has got it wrong.
Gas is 50% cleaner than coal, and renewables can't do the job right now at this moment. So do you accept that gas is still needed as that transition fuel at the very least?
It may be needed as a transition fuel, Laura, but the reality is we have enough gas coming out of the ground to give us everything that we need. And in fact, we have enough gas coming out of the ground to supply our major trading partners. We should never be distracted from the fact that this argument is being driven by multinational companies who don't even pay tax in Australia at the moment, who are just seeking to continue to make super profits. So, you know, we know if our government introduced country by country accounting, we would be looking at potentially up to $9 billion more, US dollars more, $9 billion US dollars more from the taxes that those companies would need to pay off the profits they're currently making. But we don't even have country by country reporting.
So what's your argument? You're happy to have the gas here as if we can claw that $9 billion back? Is it an economic one or is it an environmental one?
No, I think, look, there is no doubt that we have to go through a transition, and you and I have spoken about it a number of times. You can't just turn one thing on and turn another thing off. To me, the issue is that is under debate here at the moment is how much of that substance do we need? Now, my understanding is we have enough, more than enough, natural gas to meet the needs of our economy. We have more than enough natural gas to meet our trading needs. All these other new projects are simply upside for multinational companies, and we know to hit our climate goals, we need to keep the coal and gas that's in the ground. So I don't support new coal and fossil fuel projects. I do, however, support good business relationships for those that are already underway and ensuring that our economy gets its fair share of return for that resource, which is limited.
Yeah, and we've spoken about the cost of living crisis as well. What gets me, Kylea, and I know it will get you as well, is that people are seeing a 50% increase, 30 to 50% increase on their power bills every quarter. There's a lot of people that simply cannot afford that at the moment, and that group is growing bigger and bigger. Yet, you know, you have people like Daniel Andrews in Victoria saying, well, new develops, no new gas. I mean, renewables, yeah, they're cheaper and they're cleaner, but they just can't do the job right now. So isn't there an honest argument here that we've got to tell people that this transition is not cost-free? You are going to have to pay for it, and that's what you're paying for now.
I think that comes down to government policy, Laura, and where we actually want to see our federal and state governments playing an active role in helping consumers through this migration. So just to step back, for average people like you and me and most people watching this show, we can get off gas. It's actually really simple for us to get off gas if we have our own roof, if we have a landlord who's prepared to put the materials on our roofs. There is nothing freer than the sun when it comes to powering. And I know we have spoken about the fact that one of the best things I ever did was put solar on my house because, not that I live there anymore, but at the time, I significantly noticed the difference in my energy bills. Where there are challenges in the transition is in high emissions intensive
Sorry,
industry.
I don't want to interrupt you and I'll let you go on.
Cost-free.
That's not cost-free either. It costs thousands of dollars to put solar panels on your roofs and people just can't afford to do it at the moment. So what really bothers me is that, you know, we're happy to have this climate argument. This government has a mandate, the Teals have a mandate, but be honest about the cost. The cost, and people are paying for the cost now.
They are paying for the cost, and they shouldn't have to be paying for the cost. Australian government currently invests over $40 billion a year in fossil fuel subsidies. We've just spoken about the fact that there are $9 billion US sitting on the table for us to regather from multinationals involved in this sector. If we took those two, that's $50 billion a year we could be redirecting to helping exactly the people you and I are talking about. I would rather see the Australian government stand up and stomp up. They think it's about $20 million to transition a community of 10,000 households to be completely electric. We could do that in a heartbeat if we were dealing with $50 billion.
But why do we want to do that? Because without renewables, for a household to be completely electric, without renewables, that means instead of gas, you're essentially a coal-fired power house, because renewables don't cover that 100% of the time, and gas is 50% cleaner than coal. It doesn't make sense right now, does it?
The $20 million price tag on electrifying everything actually includes putting solar panels on those houses and those abodes. So what you do is you create a circular economy within those 10,000 households where actually they're being powered by renewable energy. Right. So it actually can be done, Laura.
Right, but that's only 10,000 households, is it?
For $20 million, 10,000 households, and there's $50 billion currently being invested in fossil fuel subsidies and being left on the table through multinational tax. So if we regathered that $50 billion and put it out into the communities nationally in a way that said, here, we're going to help you make this transition. We're going to subsidise the placement of solar panels on homes that need that help, social housing, affordable housing. We're going to provide interest-free loans to those that can afford to pay so they can move faster. This is all doable. The only thing that's stopping this from happening at the moment is a nefarious voice called the fossil fuel industry, which keeps coming into the ears of people like yourself and myself, making us frightened about how we can boldly step into this opportunity. So I really do want to encourage Australians, don't lose sight of the fact that whenever we're talking about projects like Middle Arm, Beetaloo Basin, this is not about our community, it's not about our society, this is about multinational company tax profits, and we need to hold those companies to account.
All right, we are well out of time. Kylea Tink, that took a turn. Wasn't expecting that, but it was good to have that conversation regardless. See you soon.